welcoming me and giving me this opportunity to come see you. I love seeing you do math. I love teaching math, and so I really got excited to see you doing math.
What is your full name?
Introductions, my name is Juan Rodriguez. I'm retired Army.
My full name is Travis Lee Dempsey.
Giovanni Rivera.
What branch of the military did you serve?
I served in the United States Air Force.
I enlisted back in 1973. Just graduated out of high school and I decided to join the Army. It was 1973, June 19.
Army. I was a Ranger Infantry.
Army.
How many years did you serve in the military?
I served for 4 years active duty and 2 years inactive duty.
I enlisted in the military in 1993, and I separated in 97. I served 4 years in the Air Force.
I served a total of 36 years in the Army.
21.
What?
21 years.
18.
What motivated you to join?
After 9/11, the Twin Towers, they collapsed and terrorist attack.
What type of job did you have while serving in the military?
My job in the Air Force, I worked in a place called munitions. And so my job was to help store and build munitions for different airplanes, basically.
I had a lot of jobs with serving. When I first went in back in 73, I went in as a military policeman. So I was a policeman for about 6 years. And then when I got out, I joined a reserve unit, which was a transportation company that transported gasoline and diesel and aviation fuel. So I drove those 5,000-gallon tankers for about 4 years. And then I became a transportation officer. And there was a lot of numerous jobs as transportation officer. I worked on ships. I worked on the railroad, trains, train cars, loading, and motor pool. That's where a bunch of cars and trucks where people come and check them out.
Photographic systems repairman. Let me make it simpler. I fixed cameras, basically. Okay? And all different kinds of cameras.
I was a supply officer. I ran warehouses. We supply everything, the trucks, uniforms, any kind of tool, we supplied it. We serve all the branches. We serve the Air Force, even the Germans, the Indians, all forces. We used to supply them.
It's a lot, just like all the field. We took care of all the field purpose, like reading maps, locating where the enemy was at, infiltrating there. You have to have training on how to help your buddies in case they get wounded. So it's, you're well-rounded soldier pretty much. So you gotta know a lot. Like my duty station was Fort Lewis, but when you get to train people, I train over 60,000 troops over in Doña Ana.
How did the job you had in the military help you find a job as a civilian?
Well, the fact that the military trained me in electronics helped me get into school to become a computer programmer. So, and that's what I did for a living. I was a computer programmer. So the school that I had in the Air Force helped me go on to become a computer programmer.
I think probably I got to teach people how to use specific tools, and that helped me maybe learn how to teach a little bit. And then I became a teacher after I got out of the Air Force.
I really liked everything. Just knowing that I was like doing it with a purpose, I think, that was the best part for me.
Well, it would have helped me. When I retired, they offered me a job, but I didn't want to work anymore. So it would have helped me because it's supply, it's everywhere, you know?
Well, being in the military the first 6 years as a policeman, when I got out, when I got out of the Army for a little while, I became a policeman. And I worked at the university for a while, and then I worked at the sheriff department for a little bit too. So it helps.
What was most challenging part of your training?
Still running. Yes, I did run a lot. We ran about 10 miles when I first joined, every day.
How many times were you deployed?
3. It was Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and in Afghanistan and Kuwait.
I served in the Vietnam War. I was there for 1 year at an Air Force base in Thailand. I spent the 3 years in the United States, different bases, and then the 1 year in the Vietnam War. So I was only one deployment.
I served immediately following Desert Storm, which was still called Desert Shield. Okay, so I did serve right following the Desert Storm, and then they transitioned to Desert Shield. And so when I served in Desert Shield, I was stationed in Saudi Arabia.
I served in one of the wars. It was called the Iraqi Freedom Campaign in Iraq. Yes, I was stationed overseas. My first overseas station was over there in the Republic of South Korea. And from there, the next overseas tour was down in Panama, down where the Panama Canal is located at. And there was couple of weeks training. I made it over to Germany for a couple of weeks. And then, of course, I was down in Kuwait and Iraq.
My first deployment was 18 months. We got extended, but they usually 12 months, 4 times. I went twice to Iraq and twice to Afghanistan. You can put Operation Iraqi Freedom or Operation Enduring Freedom, which those are both wars.
What advice would you give a young man or woman who is thinking about joining in the military?
I would encourage anybody who wants to serve their country to join the military.
I can just share my experience. It was a very positive experience for me. It gave me a lot of really good things, it gave me a good opportunity to learn things and kind of mature a little bit, grow up. At that time in my life, I probably needed that. And so I would say it was a very positive thing for me.
But one thing, education. Education comes first. So if you can get to a university or college, go through there first and get educated.
Just do it because it's coming from the heart. Don't do it because of the money. You guys go to school, graduate from college, you can make way more money. If you're thinking about just like, oh, I'm gonna make a lot of money, you make more money on the civilian side. So get your education. But if you're gonna do it because it's coming from your heart.
Did you retire from the military?
I did not retire from the military. That would have been me staying in for 20 years, and I was only in for 6 total.
Yes, I retired from the Army. I retired back in 2009.
Yes. In 2010.
I did 12 years. That was good enough for me.
That I was able to serve my country, it's very good. It has really good benefits. Like I said, I got to meet a lot of interesting people. I got to go to a lot of places because of the military. And now I am happy that I'm a veteran and I don't have to work. So.
Just that I was very proud and honored to serve my country. I think that we live in the greatest country in the world. You know, it's not perfect because it's made up of people and people are not perfect, but it's the best form of government that there is. We have fair elections, we have free elections, and not all the countries in the world can say that. So serving my country was an honor, and I think if anybody ever went that way, you'd be very happy that you did so.
God bless America, place I call my home. God bless America, land I know and love. Home of the brave and land of the free. In my heart and soul. God bless all the blood, the sweat, and the tears.
The Air Force is a little spoiled because we have really good cafeterias. And so they make really nice warm meals for us. We're a little spoiled. We're in the Army a lot of times. They don't necessarily always have a warm meal. So my least favorite meal would be those packages. They call them MREs. Oh, no, no. Yes. A lot of Army and Marines will eat those very regularly. I never had to. They were offered to us, but I never had to. And my favorite meal, I still eat it today when there's a grill. And you guys know what a grill is? It's like a big, like a big metal thing. Yeah, you like grills? Okay, I loved eggs scrambled soft with ham, cheese, and tomato. It's got to be scrambled soft. Okay, that's my favorite breakfast. Okay.
Well, the best foods. Sometimes we would have some steaks in the dining facility, and we get to eat some steak. It didn't happen very often, maybe once every 3 months. And the worst foods probably came out of the rations that you use out in the field. We used to call them C rations, and I think they're called MREs now. Yes. Meals ready to eat. They're good. They're good, but it's not my favorite. So.
The worst food and the best. The worst, during Ranger training, they teach you how to eat anything. And I had to grab this big slug from one of the trees, and you had to eat it. So I didn't chew it or nothing. I didn't want that thing popping in my mouth. So when it went in, it just like, I felt it moving in my stomach for about 5-10 minutes, and that was probably the worst. Best food. Best food was in a place called Kandahar, and they had an Air Force base there, and I remember not eating good for about a month and a half. And when we went there, they had steaks, they had lobster, they had Baskin-Robbins ice cream. Of course, it was an Air Force base, so they have all the good things.
Well, when I was in Korea, if I wasn't a Mexican, I would be a Korean. I love their food. And the least, it was in when I went to Italy. The pizzas are not like our pizzas. The pizzas are so thin, and they didn't have no flavor. So, yeah.
My favorite meal, I guess, would be, oh, that's a good question. I don't know. They served a lot of good food in the Air Force. We really were fed very well. To tell you the truth, I like the spaghetti the best, okay? The worst was rabbit. They would serve us rabbit. And I wasn't very fond of rabbit.